Well, last week on the show, I discussed Oklahoma's schedule because they in Florida get this narrative. Oh, their schedule's so hard. It's so brutal. It's just the worst. They're, according to ESPN's metrics, the two hardest schedules in all of college football. John Williams of Locked On Sooners is here to discuss because I want your take on my take, John. And my take is these are not two programs that are on the level of Mississippi State and Vanderbilt here. This is Oklahoma, and especially, this is Florida. When did it become, look who Florida has to play? Look who Oklahoma has to play. That's not how it was when I was growing up. It was, oh, these teams have to play Florida. These teams have to play Oklahoma. The Sooners are in a new conference, so I give them a little bit more leeway than what I give to Florida with this. But that's just how I look at the two toughest schedules in all of college football. Am I being too harsh on these programs?
No, I think you're actually providing them a little bit of respect, especially when it comes to Oklahoma. Like, you're Oklahoma. You're a blue blood football program, one of the two or three best programs in college football history. Yeah, you have to play Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma's coming off
maybe top
seven
five,
season.
maybe top five.
Okay, that's a debate for another show.
Yeah,
you're coming off of a 6-7 season, so I get why people are a little bit hesitant to say you have to play Oklahoma. At the same time, this is a program that has had really one bad season in 25 years, in which, okay, maybe two. They went 6-7 back in 2022, but that's after the Lincoln Riley situation, the gutting of the program, losing 5 guys on the defense to the NFL, blah, blah. We're not going to rewrite history. 2 bad seasons in 25 years, aberration year in 2024 with all the injuries. But yeah, you look at Oklahoma's schedule and you can look at all the metrics you want to look at. I'm kind of the mind that it's not as tough as the metrics want to make it, because you look at a lot of the programs on this list and a lot of those teams are turning over quarterbacks, or they're turning over significant parts of their team. You look at an Ole Miss team, and our guy Stephen Willis over at Locked On Ole Miss talked about how Ole Miss had one of the best rosters in college football last year and underachieved. Now they're replacing Jackson Dart. They're replacing a ton of guys off that defense that was pretty good. And that's a team that Oklahoma actually led at half in Oxford last year, with Jackson Arnold at quarterback, with a banged up offensive line, with no wide receivers. And so I look at Oklahoma's schedule, and yeah, it looks tough on paper, and strength of schedule is going to look tough. You look at the over under win totals, and it's going to look tough, but I just don't think it's actually as tough as people want to make it out to be.
I don't either. Now, I approach that from this is not the SEC of old. Not that this is an easy schedule. It certainly isn't. But to say that Oklahoma shouldn't still be in the conversation for a good chunk of the season to be a playoff team, like week 2, one of the best non-conference games in all of college football. You know, the game where Sharon Moore gets to pick his own suspension. I mean, he's being suspended for like the 3rd time. I don't even know. I lost track at this point. So, you know, he comes back to his alma mater. Like, you know, if you pick your own suspension, then he wants to coach that game. But, you know, the disrespect thrown at Nebraska. If I'm Matt Rule, I'm putting that on the locker room. Like, yeah, he got to pick which game he wasn't here for. He said, I don't need to be there for the Nebraska game. Who needs to play that, right? So, anyway, week 2, one of the best non-conference games in all of college football. With how I view Michigan going into next season and how I view Oklahoma, I think it should be a really, really tight competitive game. But if I take a step back and say who should win that game, it's in Norman, John. I don't think there is, barring an injury at quarterback, a significant injury. John Mateer is out. He's not playing. He's not available. That's a game that Oklahoma should absolutely win, and it should catapult them into the national spotlight, and they should be able to stay there for a solid amount of time. Because you got to be looking down south a little bit at Texas and say, why does it feel like Texas is so far ahead of Oklahoma, right? That's the way that I look at it. Is there, that gap just should not be as big as it is.
I don't think it's as big as it is. I think it's being made bigger by a lot of folks in the media. Texas is going to be good. I think Oklahoma is going to be good too. Texas is coming off of 2 back-to-back college football playoff appearances. Absolutely. They're going to be good. But they're turning over a lot. It's a significant portion of their offense that they're turning over. Oklahoma, yes, they were bad last year. I can't sugarcoat that. but the part that was bad has been remade. You talk about that Michigan game, a lot of it's going to come down to trench play. If Oklahoma can hold up along the offensive line, which I think they're going to be a lot better this year than they were last year, then yeah, I think Oklahoma's got a really good chance to win that game, and they should win that game. It's Bryce Underwood's second start in his collegiate career on the road in Norman against the Brent Venables defense. If they don't win that game, it's gonna the seat for Brent Venables is gonna turn up really, really hot. It's gonna be scorching because that's a you got to have it. You got to have it game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You got to go win that football game. And I think beyond the quarterback play, a lot of it's going to come down to offensive line for Oklahoma against Michigan's defensive front. They're going to be good up front. You got to be able to contain it. You got to be able to give John Mateer enough time. You got to be able to open up running lanes for Jaden Knott. And you can't let Bryce Underwood come into Norman and beat you in his first road start. That's really what it comes down to. You just can't let it happen. But again, it's beyond that. You go win that one, and I think you're going to have a good chance to go into the Red River Showdown undefeated against what I think is going to be a good Texas team. Are they the number one team in the nation as things stand right now? Not for me, but I think maybe for a lot of people, just because you don't really know who else you'd put at number one.
When I said the gap between Oklahoma and Texas, I'm referring to the last two seasons.
Sure.
Not directly specific to this year. Texas is going to have more preseason hype.
Yeah.
Because they've proven in the last two seasons they can be one of the four best teams in a postseason structure, in two different postseason structures in all of college football. That's not nothing. That's not nothing. So that's the way that I'm looking at the Oklahoma Texas gap is like what Texas is up here. They're back-to-back Final Four appearances. Oklahoma yet to make the playoff under Brent Venables, and I just go, what am I missing? What does Texas have that Oklahoma does? Maybe a little bit more money. I guess
a lot of good
health.
The
health. Yeah, the health. The health thing is there.
That 2024 season, obviously Oklahoma beat Texas in 2023. Oklahoma beat Texas in 2023. The difference in 2024 to me was just the way the offense was. Like the offense was just terrible from any way that you can talk about it. It was terrible. Offensive line completely banged up. Wide receiver room completely banged up. Jackson Arnold, who I'm still very high on, didn't really have a whole lot to work with, and himself didn't play great, even when the plays were there to be made. So, yeah, I mean, the gap is there based on what happened in 2024. I think it's a lot closer in 2025, but the schedule for Oklahoma, man, it goes beyond Michigan. It goes beyond Texas. I think that Final Four stretch, if you're looking at it, I mean, it's, Missouri, Tennessee, Alabama, LSU, how they handle that 4-game stretch for me is what's going to determine whether they're a playoff team or not.
Yeah, I think that's pretty undeniable just because 2-2 feels good in that stretch. 3-1 should arrive before 1-3 if all is going according to plan. Before I get you out of here, John, just because I'm curious, who is your preseason number one team in college football?
I don't like it. I don't like any of these teams as a number one, to be honest. Like I might say Penn State just because they're bringing back Drew Aller, but I have a hard time picking that because I haven't seen James Franklin go win a big game. So really, like, I don't have one. I don't have one that I feel comfortable with or feel great about, because you look across the board and, I mean, is Ohio State the number one team? Can Ryan Day replicate what he did last year?
They lost a lot.
They lost so much. And they were trying to fire that dude after they lost to Michigan. Like, if not for an incredible run by that Ohio State defense and Will Howard, he might be gone. He might be coaching somewhere else. So I don't know, dude. I don't think anybody has a great handle on who the number one team in America is. Probably if you had to nail me down on it, I'm just going to go with Kirby Smart in Georgia. I know that they've got quarterback issues, but I trust the defense and I trust them to bounce back with a run game. But again, I think it's a pick 'em at this point as we sit here June. You could pick a number one team and probably anybody could poke holes in it. And, the water's going to let in and that number one team would sink. So ask me in October. I think we'll have a better feel on who the number one team is.
You went with the fuzzy blanket response. It's
soft,
I'm sorry. It's warm, it's comfortable. You can't go wrong with it.
It's not Texas. It's not Oklahoma. It's not Alabama. It's not LSU.
crazy. I don't think Bama's a terrible preseason national
I
championship
don't know
pick.
who
I
the
really
quarterback
don't.
is.
Well, it's probably Ty Simpson, who's not brand new. But to your point earlier, this is why the SEC is going to be so much fun this year. I have
Yeah.
no idea about like 7 quarterbacks in the league.
Yep.
Is Austin Simmons good? Is DJ Lagway that guy? Is Jackson Arnold starting at Auburn? It's just it's going to be fun. The season can't
It's
get here
Arch.
soon enough.
Everything ever is
Yeah, it's
Arch.
Arch. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, who knows?
Like
I've
if
got
he's great, but will he be? I don't know.
yeah, Garrett. I mean, Garrett Nussmeier is the only guy that's proven. And by the way, he needs to stop turning the ball over. Did that a bit too often last year. John Williams.
If he plays the way that he played after he came back from his shoulder injury against Oklahoma, dude's winning the Heisman. LSU might have a Joe Burrow type quarterback.
100%. 100%.
That dude was a totally different guy after I don't know.
He can make a lot of throws that other guys dream about making.
Yeah.
In college football.
Pre-shoulder injury Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah.
Post-shoulder injury Garrett Nussmeier were two different quarterbacks.
Yes,